Paul and I would go on runs. Like, we'd be traveling at a client and we'd be out on a run talking about, like, we should do this. Like, we can do this. Like, we were kind of seeing, we were really getting into the nitty gritty of it. And we just kind of realized, like, yeah, I think this is something that you and I need to do.
I'll echo that when we were consulting at these big firms together, to me, it was crazy that it felt like the Wild West, where we were helping a company, help them undergo a digital transformation. And it seemed like for all the consultants on the project, like, this is the first time we've ever done this, and it was an absolute mess. And so for you and I, we're like, we have done this before. There's got to be a better way of doing this, and I know we can do this better. So Andrew was like, if you think so, why don't you start a company and do it, right? And so it was kind of a challenge, and like, well, if you're making this claim, let's see you follow up with it, right? And we did, and here we are today doing just that. The experiences that we saw in our career and while consulting that we needed to start this company was just that there was a need out there. Why is any company started? It's because there's major pain points out there that are not being solved by the companies out there today. And for us, that was looking at these large and small firms alike and just not getting the quality engineers that they needed to do the job correctly, right? It seemed like there was a lot of, hey, we think we have this problem, cool, we're gonna throw people at the wall at this and throw ideas at the wall and try to solve this with a shotgun approach. I think Andrew does an awesome job of going in and saying, all right, let's first talk about the strategy. Let's do an assessment and let's look at this at a high level. So instead of having a shotgun approach to solving people's pain points with their IT, it's more of a sniper approach. So let's aim in, understand the problem, and then address that problem head on.
Yeah, and I think to echo that is, I think a lot of times in consulting, there is, you're treating it in terms of like humans, right? And there's this problem, like Paul was talking about with this more shotgun approach, where if you think you can do everything, or you say you can do everything, you end up doing a lot of stuff okay, but not super well. And where Paul and I have spent a lot of time talking about was this idea of more productizing consulting, is having, it may sound obvious, but having a specific niche that you are driving into, so in our case, the monetization efforts, and then taking that repeatable approach to that across all of our customers. So taking all of the experience that we had and bringing that together and then really focusing and narrowing that down. And then I think what we're finding is that we attract the right people then, because it's a very specific and obvious message of what we're doing and how we're trying to approach that problem. And I think that's a much more attractive offer, both from our customers' perspective, but also from our employees' perspective.
Exactly. I think we're unique in that we don't pretend to do everything, or we don't try to do everything. Because if you do everything, you do everything in a very mediocre fashion. We do a little bit, but that little bit that we do very well.